Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I'm reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading's Miami office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Monday, July the 8th, 2013, and here is today's After the Bell Market Summary video brought to you by WallStreetTrading.com. I want to first start off by taking a look to see how the indices traded for the session here today. The Dow Jones closed up a little over, close to 89 points here. The Nasdaq closed up 5.5, and the S&P 500 closed up 8.5 points. If we take a look at the breadth on the market today, we had 3,812 issues advancing on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the Amex. We had 2,350 issues declining on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the Amex. So therefore, breadth was in favor of the bulls today. Pretty much mixed, close to a little over 1-to-1, so but leading more in favor towards the bulls here today. You take a look across the sectors across the board today. Here we had the financial strong. Technology stocks were a little bit weak today thanks to Intel, and Apple was weak today, bounced off the lows, but Intel had the downgrade come out this morning. They had some news regarding some of their operations over there overseas, and they did not like what they see, so they got downgraded by I forgot what firm they got down. I think it was Morgan Stanley. I'm not sure, but either way, the whole sector for the semiconductors were weak today off that news. QCOM was down 1.5%. Texas Instruments was down. Intel was down over 3.5%. So we'll take a look at those stocks here shortly as well. Let's go ahead and jump into the market though, starting off with the SPY. As you can see, if you guys have been trading the past 2 weeks or so, the action has been pretty choppy. You can see a lot of gap action, not any wide range bars in the chart here. You can see every day's been kind of a little gap and shake down or gap and shake up. But, we are moving off of the little lows that we made back there 2 weeks ago, recovering this little steep drop that we had here in a short amount of time. So we got a little V-shaped recovery action going on. If you take a look at the levels that are important on the SPY to watch going forward, you have this 166 level, which is key. And then as long as we can stay above this 162 level, all right, which was some of the gap resistance, all right, you can also see that we gapped above the gap resistance window. So as long as we can stay above, say, this 162.75 area, or better yet, 162, if we get some back and fill, that would be pretty good. If we break over today's highs, the next target is going to be up here towards that 166 level. All right, so keep those levels on watch. If you take a look at the ES action, which is what we track on an intraday basis in our MyWallStreetTV.com live intraday chat room for professional, experienced traders and newbie traders that are interested in learning how to read the markets on an intraday basis, you're more than welcome to come into the room. To get access to the chat room, you have to go to our website though, WallStreetTrading.com, and fill out the form on the right hand side, which will take you about 2 minutes or so. All right. Anyways, the level to watch on the ES going forward is around the 1650 area. If we pull back, I would say down towards 1620, that would possibly be an area to look for a scalp, or at least get a buy the dip opportunity, I would say, here. But so far today, the market's had a nice little advance higher today, and looks like we want to hit the 1650 levels. That'll be the next level to watch. All right, if we take a look at the triple Qs, the NASDAQ 100 ETF, you can see the NASDAQ was the weakest index today. Still managed to close up 7 cents here. And you can see we are above that key trend line that we've been tracking from that little, let me zoom the chart back out here. That little key trend line that we had all the way from what you got here last November to right here, to right here, to right here, to right here. Then we broke above it right there. And you can see we bounced off of it a couple of times, during that little sell action that we were getting. They bounced it up, but then we broke through it 2 weeks ago, and now we're back above it. So keep an eye on this 72 level. If we can hold above 72, that would be pretty good. And the next target looks like 73.50. We continue moving higher. Today's highs was 73, so over 73 we should see that 73.50. Below today's lows, we can make a pullback back down towards 72. Again, the NASDAQ was the weakest index today, thanks to Apple Computers, which was down a lot more than $2.37, but it did make a nice little $5 recovery off the lows. It was down about $7 today, but then again, it made a nice little move off of the lows here, which allowed it to get back to only being down, say, 0.5% or so. Also, we had that news come out from Intel. They got downgraded. All right, you can see here this stock holding below 23.50 doesn't look too good, and it's also that news also brought some selling pressure to the other semiconductor stocks. So you can take a look at those stocks as well. You can see Intel breaking below 23 will give it a nice move potential down towards 22. All right, you can see Qualcomm also had a move down today. We're going to keep be keeping a close eye on the semiconductor stocks tomorrow. But you can see Qualcomm was weak again as well. This one may want to go down to those 59.44s, and we'll see what happens from there. And then we had CLAC. CLAC had a strong day on Friday, which you would have expected to see some follow through today. But then again, that news out of Intel caused some selling pressure in CLAC as well, and gave it an ugly wide range candle here. So we'll keep an eye on the sector going forward. As far as some strong stocks in the technology sector, since we're looking at the triple Qs, you have Amazon, which broke out today. If you guys know, we've been on top of Amazon since the breakout right here from our little channel analysis. Ever since it rallied to the top of the channel, pulled back, held the 50% line of the channel, rallied back up, consolidated in this nice range. We gave the buy trigger that day, and so far it's been planning out well. I also told you guys to watch on these downward channel breakouts. When they come back to retest the top of the channel, that's usually a buying opportunity. Opportunity happened once and happened twice, and that second attempt, right, well, that second little attempt to break down and shake out down there that held the top of the channel was a nice little power leg up, which you have wanted to catch. Again, and we've been talking about Amazon, so you want to make sure you tune into our videos. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, My Wall Street TV, go check it out. You can also watch it on our website at wallstreettrading.com. On the upper right-hand side, click the My Wall Street TV tab. So let's go ahead and finish going through the rest of the indices here, starting off with the, starting with the IWM here now, the last index that we're going to cover. You can see IWM made new 52-week highs today. Actually made new all-time highs today by 4 cents. You can see it broke above this little high right there by 6 cents, I believe it was. We hit a high back here on the 22nd of May of $100.38. Today we hit a high of $100.44. So we made new highs by 6 cents, new all-time highs here. So again, the Russell 2000 has been the index that I've been telling you guys, if the indices were to move higher, this will be the go-to index because it had a nice little, when the market was selling off all wild, it pretty much stayed nice and tight here, more contained than the other indices. So therefore, if the markets do have some more follow through, the Russell 2000 is a sector, or I should say the index that you want to go to. And you can play that via TNA, all right, or just look for some nice little stocks that are traded in this ETF that have some nice volume behind them that are moving up with the rest of the sectors. Those would be the go-to stocks to hit up. Again, so let's go ahead and take a look at the some of the key things that we usually look at here in these videos. The dollar index showing some strength again. It was able to get back above that key level of 83.50. You guys recall we talked about this nice little up move and sideways consolidation that's usually indicative of a move higher. But then we had some selling pressure come in the markets, and then the market had some selling pressure come in the dollar index, which was able to hold this 80.75 level, and now we have a V-shaped recovery. So the dollar index is looking pretty strong. That's going to put some selling pressure on some of these precious metal stocks, some of these basic material stocks, some of these stocks that depend on a weak dollar to, some of these stocks that depend on a weak dollar. All right, those stocks as well are going to get some selling pressure as well. All right, let's take a look at the euro, which is, got a nice little bounce today, was strong today, but it still needs to get back above this key 130 level. Until then, the euro is, I believe, a short on all rallies below 130. And again, we don't trade Forex. We do track the Forex market to see how it relates to the equity markets and the different asset classes, so we keep tabs on this as well. And since I didn't get to do a weekend review video, I'm going through a whole bunch of different things right now. So let's go and take a look at the volatility index next, the VIX. The VIX is back below 16. We're coming back into that little range where we had the consolidation back here that caused a nice little breakout. We're coming right back into that area. So if the markets were to move up a little bit more in a choppy manner that did not look healthy, and the VIX was to catch some support down here at 1353, I believe that would be an opportunity to maybe pick up some volatility to protect your positions, or maybe to take off some of your long positions in the market and maybe just get flat in the cash, or get maybe look for some shorts. So we'll see how that plays out as well. We're going to be using the VIX as a gauge to track the fear in the market going forward as we continue to just gap up higher and chop at these levels. And again, this is coming back into some prior support levels that were prior resistance right here. All right, resistance, but now it should act as support on this side. And then if we break back below that, we'll be looking for the VIX to make a move back down towards 12.5 or so. So we have an eyes on that. We'll keep you guys posted. Let's take a look at the commodity space here now, starting off with crude oil, which has been all over the news. If you guys recall, for the past month or so, let's go to these weekly and monthly charts. We've been talking about crude oil breaking out by the end of the third quarter since the start of the year, and so far that's coming to fruition here. You can see crude oil is breaking out this nice little symmetrical triangle that we've been talking about in the videos. And, as long as crude oil stays above 98, we're going to be looking for higher crude oil prices going forward. And to believe it or not, it looks kind of scary because it does look like we could make a move back up towards 110 a barrel, maybe even 115 if this thing really breaks out this year. Now, is it breaking out because the tensions overseas, or is it breaking out because we're actually getting a little bit of global growth in the market now, and people are demanding more crude oil? We're going to have to wait and see. But at the same time, it is showing us some nice strength. We've been highlighting the strength in the crude oil markets ever since it held this 92 level pretty much. We've been recognizing how the big buyers have been coming down here around 92 and buying it up. And now you can see why they were doing that, because they were forecasting it to move higher, and now it moved to 104. Still looking pretty strong. Again, I think if crude oil comes back down towards $98 a barrel on any type of weak news that comes out overseas of a global slowdown and crude oil sells back off a bit, I think that would be a buy opportunity down there around 98 if you miss this initial move up. So keep an eye on crude oil for those viable pullbacks here as close as you can towards 98 if it pulls back down there. Let's talk about gold. Why gold was up a little bit today. Still has a lot of damage, technical damage on the chart. You guys, we've been tracking this little move on gold ever since it broke below this 1350 level here. You can see you have a nice little inverted cup and handle pattern right here, and really can't get bullish back on gold until it gets back above that 1350 level here. Until then, most rallies are probably going to be shorted. Like we had this nice little bear flag right here, so we really got to get back above this 1275 area, and then 1300, and then 1350. Those are some levels of resistance. And then this 1250 is acting as resistance as well. To the downside, if we break back below 1200, we got 1175. But right now, again, we don't recommend that you trade any precious metals right now. They're just looking like dead money. Yeah, they got those days where they bounce up a little bit, but there's different stocks, different sectors that are moving much cleaner right now, like the Amazons and some of the other technology stocks out there, like the Amazon, the financials that are moving pretty well, the Wells Fargos, stuff like that, the financials. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at copper, because I did not get a chance to do the weekend review video, and I like to go over copper as well. One thing I would like to see, though, if crude oil is moving up on growth prospects, or people expecting growth in the market, I would like to see copper rally with crude as well, which right now it's not doing that. It had a nice little bounce today, but this thing really needs to get back above this $3.20 level, and then really get back above 330 or so. But that's one thing I would like to see if the global economy is really growing. I want to see the copper market start to show some signs of strength, which we're not seeing right now. What else? Silver, which I'll look at with the SLV. Again, dead money. I mean, just look at the candlestick it had today. Today, this thing had a range of 10 cents, guys. No opportunity there. Stay away from the precious metals. They're not, they're not the sector to make money in right now. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bonds, the TLT. Bonds continue to break down from our call that we made about a month ago. If you guys recall tuning in from the weekend review videos, we talked about the head and shoulders pattern on the TLT chart. I had a lot of friends say, Chris, the bonds are going to keep on buying it. No, guys, the bonds, they broke down ever since our call from right here when we were talking about getting short the bonds around 116. They broke below 112, the neckline, and as long as the TLT continues to hold below 112, we're going to see the bond market continue to sell off. The equity markets probably trade sideways to higher, and we're going to see those interest rates start to creep up like they're doing right now, which, again, we were talking about that way before CNBC started making it an everyday topic on their television show, which, again, is why you have to do your own analysis. To be on top of the game, you have to do your own analysis so you know what's happening before it hits mainstream media, and then everybody's all over the trade. Again, and we'll show you that here. If you're interested in taking our education course, you can contact me at ccooper@wallstreettrading.com. We'll show you some of our tactics and some of our strategies that we use to create intraday cash flow opportunities and recognize stocks that are showing relative weakness and relative strength in the market, which allow us to catch those nice momentum trades and those nice little 3-day gains, and those nice little 3-day moves, and just decent momentum trades that you could recognize from understanding how the market works and understanding how to identify relative strength and relative weakness. So TLT looks like it wants to go lower, and again, if this goes lower, we're probably going to see we're going to see those interest rates continue to creep higher, and we're going to see either money come out of those bond markets go into cash or go into some strong equity stocks that are holding up, like Amazon. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some stocks now. The financials held up pretty well today. Again, one of the stronger stocks out there is Wells Fargo. WFC, you can see how the market's been trading. This thing's been pretty contained here, and now it's close. Now it's making its way back up towards all-time highs. The all-time high on Wells Fargo is up here around $34. I'm sorry, around $44.69, which means this thing has about two more dollars to the upside if it really breaks out here. You can see at the bottom of the chart we have two confirmation higher closes out of this little closing price consolidation range we had right here. So the more closes we get above 42, the better that looks. Wells Fargo's the best looking bank stock out there, if you ask me. Citigroup's looks pretty interesting as well. If it could stabilize above, I would say 49, you could look for this to continue moving higher. Bank of America held up today a little bit, traded sideways for most of the day, then broke out in like the last 2 hours of the day there. And this one looks good if it gets back above 1340. Keep an eye on Bank of America. JP Morgan, let's see what JP Morgan did. JP Morgan looks pretty good as well. As long as it can hold above 54, that would be pretty interesting. A lot of the regional banks had some nice moves on Friday. I did not track them today, but a lot of the regional banks are moving up as well. You can see Zion Bank, nice move there. You can take a look at FITB, Fifth Bank Corp. That looks pretty interesting. Take a look at State Street. That one's probably the next one to try to make a move higher. You can see it's been trading this little big range, this little wide range here for this stock between 68 and 64. So a nice little $4 range here. A little bit sloppy, but if it can stabilize a bit here and the financials continue to move higher, keep an eye on State Street for the regional bank sector. A couple of things moving and shaking, guys. I mean, again, the whole sector, the whole market was pretty strong today across the board. Only sector that had the weakness was the technology sector, again, and thanks to Intel and Apple. We're seeing some strength pick up, or at least we're seeing some dip buyers come into these little depressed stocks right here, which are the coal stocks. Not sure if any news came out on them today, but they had a nice little bounce today, which we were able to participate in some of that WLT action. We can see CNX, nice little bounce there, all the way from 36 down at 26 today, got bought up. 27 and some change got bought up. Nice little candlestick there. You can take a look at BTU. All right, breaking and closing above this little two-week range it had here. As long as it can hold above this 1550 level, continue to watch this stock, or as long as it continue to hold above 15, continue to watch this stock and give you a nice little buying opportunity. This one's coming all the way from, I would say a high back here in November of 29.67, and now it's all the way at 15.37. Could be a good candidate for a depressed buy stock here to hold for a couple weeks here. Looking for a nice little, some scalpers or some nice little value buyers to try to come in and try to find some alpha in some of these stocks here. And then WLT, which I think this one should get a nice little bounce because this one has been a candidate for a takeout rumor like for the past couple months, or if not more, past year. But every time they get a buyout on it, just keeps on going lower. I guess they don't fall through with the buyout. So now it's at a cheap price. The whole sector bounces. This one this one could probably be up at 15 in the next couple weeks or so. So keep an eye on these coal stocks. They may try to get a bounce here that could be a nice little bounce for a good 1 week or 2 week price movement there to the top side. So we'll keep on engaging that sector. Aside from that, folks, have a great day. Again, if you are interested in trading with our prop firm, contact me at ccooper@wallstreettrading.com. I can give you the details on what it takes to become a prop trader. Whether if you're trading retail right now and you don't know if prop trading's for you, I can tell you the pros and the cons, and just give you some more information and some more understanding of the industry. Have a great day. Take care, guys. Cheers.